So here we go. Welcome back to another edition of Game Day. I'm back in action after a week away with the Geordie flu. I have to admit, that hit me like a bus, but I'm back here at Portman Road as Town take on Barrow of League Two in the FA Cup second round. Can the Blues progress to the third round? An opportunity to take on the big boys. Hopefully if we get a good draw, but we probably won't. But yes, got a new mic, got my hat on, it's got road chilly indeed. Hope you enjoy the sights and the sounds as standard, and we'll get the thoughts from the fans after the game on the result. Hope you enjoy as ever. Let's go!
I mean, saw it coming a mile off. We should be winning those games. I don't want to sound like an arrogant Ipswich fan, or we should be, but Barrow had a really poor run of form going into this game and bullied us for the first half, really. I thought, fair's fair to Cook. I thought we actually made a sub at half-time, and Piggott looked livelier than he did on Wednesday night, made a bit of an impact. Maybe we could have nicked it at the end, but we just seemed to be bullied. Chaplin seemed to be bullied off the ball a lot in that number 10 role today. Two big lads stuck on him every time. It's another replay, it's another game, and that doesn't fill me with confidence going into the Charlton game, really. You're thinking you play against a good League One side like that and you're getting turned over. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? I'm honestly not sure what to feel about Paul Cook at the moment. I want to give him to the end of the season, but he's not making it easy for me at all.
So, Luke and Matt here after Ipswich Town 0, Barrow 0.
A fascinating, enthralling game, really. I don't know really where you start with that. The first half, we didn't really create anything of note. Barrow had a good, they've had a few chances early on. Second half of it, the post and bar, but they weren't really big chances. And if you can't create against a team that are on something like 7 points out of 8 league games, you're not. That's not encouraging, is it?
And that's 7 points out of 8 league games or whatever it is in League Two. And I think you come away from that match not feeling like we were particularly the better side. We weren't particularly on top of that. And
I think Barrow were.
Yeah,
Barrow were more. I think they impacted the game a lot more than we did.
Yeah, there was a lack of backbone I felt through the team when we signed Sam Morsey on the end of the transfer window. That was meant to be that sort of backbone, but there was no leadership out there today. There was no real no player grabbing it by the scruff of the neck, and I do felt we need that. We've now got another, like you say, long trip up to Cumbria that Barrow's in.
Yeah.
In the midweek before playing Sunderland in front of 28 or so thousand fans at Portman Road. So that's another trip we could have done without, really. But
yeah, it is.
You look at the week we've had. We've lost to Arsenal's kids.
After
we've drawn with Barrow.
Yeah,
it's a miserable week for a club, really.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, with five games in the last 8 we're scoreless.
Yeah.
So again, that's not encouraging. We've gone from the team that was scoring in every single game, scored in every single game until mid October. When Oxford came here, and then with, as I say, 5 of the next 8 we haven't scored since. So
fans keep turning up. We'll go to Charlton in numbers, but
yeah, January's a big window. Yeah. I feel like if we don't do anything in January, we might not even be getting out of the league the right end. We might start sliding towards the wrong end if we're not careful.
Yeah. I don't think we'll be that dramatic, but
I don't know. But anyway, up the town.
Oh, it's David. What can you say? More of the same. I thought it'd be a draw. It is a draw. We've got no pattern. We've got no play. Looking at who was going to be man of the match in our discussion afterwards, and you have to go with who's hardest working rather than who's best. There's nothing in midfield. There's, I'm slightly at loss for words for repeating myself in the fact that it's the same thing over and over and over again. I think that Barrow can feel slightly hard done by not to have won, ultimately. And yeah, it's just, I mean, it's crap. It's crap football. Credit to Barrow for working really hard. If they'd had a striker, I think they would have won. We can huff and puff for another 25 days and we don't beat them because all we've got is hoping that somebody like a Luco or a Celino turns up and does something magical. That's the only reason we beat Crewe. It's the only reason we beat Fleetwood. There isn't anything there. We're not getting the patterns of play which I'm told that Cook wants. And I just don't see it changing. And it's miserable to watch. And I feel sorry for anybody who's going to make the trip to Barrow because it's going to be grim on that coast, isn't it? On a cold Tuesday night. And it's that thing in the old thing is who fancies it in Stoke on a cold Tuesday night. And frankly, I don't think any of our players do. I don't think they're up for the fight. Barrow got all the second balls. Barrow fought hard for it, and Barrow deserved that. And credit to Barrow for that. Us, absolute waste of time, and we're going to carry on in exactly the same vein for as long as he's in charge. Frankly, we'll get a win here and there. We might beat Charlton, and then we'll lose the next two. Bobbling along in mid-table, doing nothing, and he gets a free pass because we've got Ashton and Johnson, and we're all excited by the new revolution. If this was under Lambert or under Hurst, he'd be under serious pressure, and he's getting a free pass. He's running under the radar, and it's I'm annoyed by it, but I'm not surprised by today, and I won't be surprised when we lose the next one.
Well, hi, it's Bono, aka Matt, or whatever you want to call me. So we've just witnessed history here. We changed to 4-4-2 at half time because it wasn't working, and it was, in a way, it was so predictable, wasn't it? A cold December Saturday, absolutely fantastic conditions for football, and Barrow were everything that we weren't. They showed passion, desire, they were well organised, and they were aggressive, and I think we never really got out of second gear. Luco coming on was a massive positive for me, as was Big Joe Piggott. He's had a haircut, he looks pretty swish, and had those chances gone in, we hit the woodwork a couple of times, we wouldn't all be standing here. But I'm not going to slate the fan base too much, but 6,000 people isn't really acceptable. Cheap tickets as well. So much negativity. We're kind of getting back to the days of the kind of toxic atmosphere a little bit under Paul Lambert. Sorry, put a pound in the swear jar there. But we go again. We're the gift that keeps on giving, really, aren't we? Kudos to Cook for changing up the system. It clearly wasn't working. It won't work unless we have those proper wingers and those flying fullbacks. We were just really not up for it. And, who can blame Barrow? They've come to a fantastic stadium with great facilities, and they kind of showed us how to play, really. So I think we were unlucky not to win. A lot of the dark arts from Barrow, not really a fan of that, to be honest. But we're going to have to go to their place now. Ross is shaking his head, so I'm sure all the press boys and everybody else is looking forward to that. A 10-hour round journey next Tuesday or Wednesday. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to be in the hat for the third round and hopefully draw somebody massive like Norwich City from up the road. Wouldn't that be good? But anyway, this is me signing off. Have a great weekend. Keep smiling and keep the faith. Keep the faith.